Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and we got some brand new card reveals to take a look at here from the new set Raging Surf / Paradox Rift, which will be our November set. We got a brand new Mewtwo EX, and we all know Mewtwo has been pretty infamous. Another Skeledirge EX, and now we have two Skeledirge EXs. Kind of crazy. I'm excited to take a look at these new cards. We even got a brand new tool card that looks pretty good. If y'all are new to the second channel, click that subscribe button down below. Let me know what your thoughts on these new cards are, because yesterday we just looked at the new Garchomp and Frostlass EX got that revealed. So we are seeing a lot of these new cards get revealed, and I figured we were going to see some during the World Championships weekend. We might even see a new mechanic get revealed later today, since I think later tonight is the World Championship Sunday over in Japan. So I'm excited for that. But let's take a look at what some of these new cards do. The first thing we got is the new Bombardier EX. Now, this card is actually kind of cool. It's got two attacks. The first attack actually is not bad. It's kind of like the Wish Battle VIP Pass. So, for 1 energy, if you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn, search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon, and put them onto your bench. So, pretty decent attack. If you go first, then you can use the effect of getting 3 basic Pokemon in play. Honestly, not bad, right? It's like going first. One of the issues is that you're not able to sometimes bench Pokemon if you don't have a Battle VIP. A lot of the time, you maybe get like a Nest Ball, maybe you get an Ultra Ball, but then you also don't want to play the Ultra Ball because you need to keep resources in your hand. So being able to just have an immediate get 3 basic on your first turn is actually good. Now, there's obviously the downside of the Bombardier. It does have a really good first attack, but you do have to like start with it. You have to use an energy to attack, so you have to somehow put this in the active spot. And also, you have to have an energy for it. And it is a bit of a liability. It's only got 200 HP. It's almost like playing a Squawkabilly in your deck, right? It does have Shadow Wind for 3 energy. It does 130, and then you can shuffle this Pokemon and all cards on it back in your deck. So you can play double turbo after doing the first attack and then put this thing off the board, which isn't terrible. I don't think this card is bad at all. The first attack definitely could be decent in maybe a single prize setup deck. Once Battle VIP Pass rotates, maybe this card could actually be playable. But again, it is kind of situational where you do have to start with it. You have to get it in your active spot. You have to get energy on it. Very situational card, but it is kind of cool. And that first attack definitely is a decent setup. We got a new Mantike here. Haven't seen a Mantike card in a long time. But it is a baby Pokemon. It doesn't really do anything too good. It's got fluffy healing. Heal 120 damage from one of your Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, it's a baby with 30 HP. What do you expect? I mean, healing 120, though, actually isn't bad. That's a lot of damage to heal. But obviously, it's not going to be that great. We do have a new Eviltal here with Crosscut that does 30 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution, it does 60 more damage. So if you're playing against like a Gardevoir deck, you do have an attack that can do 70 damage with a double turbo to the Gardevoir Shining Arcana. It is a dark Pokemon. Then obviously you have Dark Edge, is 120, discard energy. So the main trait of the Eviltal is that first attack being able to do 90 damage to a Pokemon with a tool card on it is essentially going to be the main draw of this card. And it kind of reminds me of like the Zeraora that Miraidon plays. I can do like 80 for 1 to an evolution or whatever. So kind of the same thing. It's just doing more damage to a Pokemon with a tool on it. Nothing too crazy. It might not be terrible against Guardy, because if they just have a tool on, you're probably going to be one-shotting their Shining Arcana Gardevoirs for a single prizer. So that's good. There is maybe other traits. I mean, it does attack like Mew and stuff. But you're not one-shotting Mew. I mean, you're doing 90. Yeah. I don't know. It's a cool card. It's not terrible by any means. Next up is Gorgeous Mantle. This card is actually really good. So if this Pokemon is attached to a Pokemon that does not have a rule box, it gets plus 100 HP. However, the drawback is when that Pokemon is knocked out, your opponent then takes 1 more prize card for KOing it. So this tool card is kind of insane. It's like obviously Bravery Charm, but plus 50 on top of that. So 100 extra HP is kind of bizarre. That is pretty crazy. Now, obviously, it's not going to work on a rule box, because that would have been kind of OP. Being able to put this on a rule boxer would have been kind of strong. But being able to put on a non-rule boxer and give it plus 100 HP is kind of strong. I mean, you're able to put that onto any single prizer. Some of the ones that stand out, Shining Arcana Gardevoir could play this. I don't know if you want to make it a 2 prizer, though, but being able to give Shining Arcana plus 100 HP is really good. You have Drifloon, another big Gardevoir partner. Drifloon could play a Gorgeous Mantle, too. That could be kind of insane. You could play this even in Lost Zone decks if you really want to. Like, put this on Sableye give it 180 HP. 180 HP lost minor in the mirror match would be kind of ridiculous, not going to lie. So this card actually seems pretty strong. Now, the extra prize giving up obviously is not ideal. Having to give up a prize card isn't great because turning a 1 prizer and 2 prizer obviously can make it easier for your opponent to win the game. But under the right circumstances, that plus 100 HP does go a long way. I mean, there's some other good partners. Snorlax, the Thumping Snorlax could play this. You could play this inside of a Reggie deck if you ever want to play Reggies. I mean, Reggies did get top 16 recently, so who's to say Reggie still won't be decent? You could play this in Reggies. There's quite a few good Pokemon this card is good with. It also works on evolutions, right? So there's other stuff like Luxray, Torterra, any Zorobox partner, Wugtrio. I don't know. This card's kind of cool. I definitely don't hate it. Maybe it's actually good against Lost Box, right? Because you can put this on the evolution and then make it so Sableye can't farm you. So I don't know. Just trying to think of ways where this card is good. I definitely think this card is good. Even though you do give it that extra price, that plus 100 HP is kind of bonkers. And I like it. I think it's a very strong card, and I'm interested to see if it will see play. Because I think it will. There's enough single prizes out there where this card has to see some play. And next up, we got a new Terra Mewtwo. Now, Terra Mewtwo is a lightning type. So as you can see, these terrestrial Pokemon, they're not your usual type. We got Garchomp being a water type, Charizard being a dark type. Now we have a lightning type Mewtwo. Now, Mewtwo obviously has had some infamously strong cards in the past, but is Terra Mewtwo any good? Well, it does have 2 attacks. You got Transcharge, attach up to 2 basic Psych Energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like. Kind of mediocre. The main attack is that Photon Kinesis attack for 2 Psychic Energy, does 10 damage, plus then does 30 more damage for each Psychic Energy on all of your Pokemon. So 10 base damage plus 30 for each Psychic Energy on all your Pokemon, meaning that you're going to have to play this in a Psychic deck. Now, obviously, the first thing that stands out about Mewtwo is pairing it with Gardevoir EX. Now, you can't use Gardevoir's ability on Mewtwo, so you got to keep that in mind. Gardevoir's ability does not work on Mewtwo. However, you can use Shining Arcana to get energy on. You can attach for turn. You can play EXP share. You can play Energy Switch. You have Raihan. And when Shining Arcana and Zacian V both rotate and Gardevoir loses that big heavy hitter basic Pokemon in Zacian, Mewtwo could step in and be the new partner. Again, it is a little situational though, where you do have to specifically move the energy to the Mewtwo through Energy Switch or whatever other combo you decide to play with. Because again, you cannot use Gardevoir's ability on Mewtwo, unfortunately. It'd be kind of cool if you could, but you can't. And you're a lightning type, so you kind of get a bit of extra type coverage in Gardevoir if you were to play this in Gardevoir, because now all of a sudden you have a lightning attacker in Gardevoirs. You can hit Pidgeot EX for weakness. I'm sure Pidgeot will be good at some point. You have hitting for weakness against Lugia and Palkia, which will still be out there, so I don't hate it. I mean, it's not the greatest Mewtwo ever, obviously. It's kind of... To be honest, it is a little mid. It's not... We could have had a better Mewtwo card, right? But this card is still fine. You can, again, play it in Shadow Rider before Shadow Rider rotates, right? Shadow Rider Mewtwo could be a decent deck, right? You can use Mewtwo as an attacker with Shadow Rider. It's just being a lighting type is also really cool. You're splashing it in these Psychic decks, and you get that extra bit of type coverage with the Mewtwo EX. And that's, I think, one of the main selling points about playing Mewtwo is how splashable it is, and you get that type coverage in those decks, right? So it's cool. Not the best Mewtwo ever, but it isn't bad either. Let me know what your thoughts on the Mewtwo are down below. We got another Skeledirge EX. This is what kind of is surprising. 2 Skeledirge EXs now exist, and like the other terrestrials, this is a metal-type Skeledirge, which is actually good. Obviously, metal Pokemon are pretty good right now because of the popularity of Xianpao. However, the Skeledirge, of course, does require 2 fire energy in its attack. This card is kind of cool, though. So it's got the ability Explosive Song. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand in order to use the ability. During this turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Holy moly. That's kind of bonkers. Now, yeah, you're a stage 2, but being able to do 60 more damage is just insane. Now, of course, you get rid of fire energy, which means you can play this within Charizard EX. That's the first thing I thought of, is this card might be really good within Charizard EX, because now Charizard EX, because one of the things that makes Charizard awkward is that its numbers are really awkward against a lot of Pokemon. You go 180, not bad, but then you go from 180, you go to 210, which a lot of the time you're falling short on a 1-hit KO on Xianpao. And then you go to 240 with a belt, you're just behind on a V-Star knockout, and 270, you're just behind a 300. You kind of see what I mean? Your damage is kind of just not quite there. However, if you play this when Charizard, all of a sudden Charizard can do 270 damage once your opponent just takes a single prize card, and then he can just put a belt on, do 300 out of nowhere. I think this card is really good. Being able to do plus 60 damage is bananas. You can play this, of course, with the other Skeledirge EX. I don't think I mean, I guess you could play it. There's synergy between the two. The other Skeledirge already does a ton of damage, but now you can one-shot other Pokemon with your Skeledirge. Now your Skeledirge one-shotting the other EXs in the format. You can play this with, like, Arcanine EX. You can play this within, like, an Arceus V-Star deck. Because you don't have to specifically get rid of Fire Energy. It's not like this card can be played with anything in the game, but being able to do plus 60 more damage to an active Pokemon is so strong. That is a very good ability. I don't know if we've ever seen an ability quite like it before, where you just flat out do that much more damage with that good of an effect. So we'll have to see where this goes. Again, 330 HP also makes it a pretty decent, like, bulky Pokemon to sit on the bench. The attack is not bad either. It does 160 for 2 energy. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on the opponent's active, so it does have Shred, which is nice. Having the built-in Shred is good. Needing only 2 energy isn't bad either. It means that it doesn't need to, have that much energy on it. And 160, obviously, if you do your own ability, right, you can do, 220 damage. So you're knocking out most basic EXs and Vs. So pretty good card. I mean, this card definitely could give some potential to some new decks. And I think it really does shine maybe within the Charizard EX the most. But that's it for the new cards. We got some new EXs. I'm sure we'll see some more tomorrow. I wasn't expecting to do, 4 videos in a row this weekend. Kind of makes up for the lack of content here on the second channel. But let me know what you think of the new cards down below. What do you think of the new Mewtwo EX? Do you think the Mewtwo is good? Do you think it'll be good within Gardevoir? Do you think Shadow Rider can play it? And what do you think of the new Skeledirge? Do you have any other partners for Skeledirge? I mean, I'm sure I missed out on a few cards because there's a lot of Pokemon this can see play with, because that ability seems to be kind of insane. And again, the new Cape Tool card was also pretty good. I think this was another highlight card from the reveals here, the gorgeous Mantle. Plus 100 HP on a single prizer. It's pretty good. And even if it gives up 2 prizes, that 100 HP boost is kind of nutty. And what do you think of the new Bombeardier? I would love to hear your thoughts down below of all the new cards in the comments. That'll be for me here on the second channel. And again, I'm sure we'll see some more costs tomorrow. More cards tomorrow. So yeah, we'll catch you then. Bye-bye.